Following Myst's success, it doesn't come as a surprise that the sequel is in the works. In fact, as soon as Myst had its 15 minutes of fame, the next game was announced.
I guess there's no slacking at Cyan.
What's more interesting to know is that Riven took more than 3 years of development.
To make something bigger and better?
And sure enough, on October 31st, 1997, we get Riven, the sequel to Myst.
But something feels a little off.
And that would be the subtitle. If it wasn't for the sequel to Myst, players wouldn't have a clue they'd be playing the second game.
Even if the subtitle wasn't there, the intro sets the stage.
The story immediately picks up where Myst left off. Atris tells the player that a greater threat still looms and his wife Catherine is prisoner somewhere in the world known as Riven.
And who would that person be?
I'm not telling. Like its predecessor, Riven is also a point-and-click game, but this time the game doesn't rely on books. Instead of ages, the player now has to travel to 5 separate islands, gather clues, and solve puzzles in order to free Riven and rescue Catherine.
But is the game reading free?
The answer is no. There's still reading to be done in order to solve the puzzles that await in Riven.
But the good news is there's only one thing you need to know.
And that's the number system, but there's a bit of a catch.
But if you don't know how the numbers are laid out, you won't get far.
What really sets Riven apart from Myst is that at launch the game came on 5 CDs.
And if you lost one of the CDs, you're out of luck.
Thankfully, Riven got re-released on DVD in 1998.
Let me add that this would be Robin Miller's last game before departing Cyan.
To make matters worse, Broderbund, the publisher, was facing financial problems while the game was in development and missed the 1996 holiday launch.
Let's add one thing. The game was a critical and commercial success despite the game being available for less than 3 months.
Enough history, let's talk about the game. As mentioned, the game is a point-and-click game where you have to solve puzzles in order to find Catherine and free her from Riven.
Because I can't get the 1997 original game to work, I have no choice but to show the 2024 remake.
No matter, the gameplay as a whole plays the same, but there are some minor differences. First and foremost are the puzzles. In 1997, the game had a preset solution to each puzzle. 2024's puzzle started the same, but alterations were made.
For the most part, it does make the game easier.
At the same time, the solutions are random.
And the X factor? The numbers.
You have to understand the numbering mechanic in order to complete the game.
And to help you out, the Moietti device.
The item was introduced into the 2024 game to help the player find hidden messages.
And this item is crucial to beating 2024's Riven.
Without it, the player would be lost. The graphics in both versions are better than Myst's. The characters in 1997 were actors, in 2024 they are computer generated. The environments in both games really do bring the game to life and immerses the player into Riven's world. While the soundtrack is minimal, the ambience is what brings Riven together. And in 2024, the controls feel more natural and less annoying than its 1997 counterpart.
It just makes the game feel more at home.
But one drawback is that this game isn't as open world as Myst. And in the early stages, you're forced to go to specific islands and get clues in order to move on. Let's wrap things up with an 8 out of 10 for the 1997 game and a 9 out of 10 for the 2024 game.